So you keep losing in ranked, and whenever you ask people for help, they just tell you to hit the lab. But what is the lab? What are they talking about? Well, it's pretty simple actually. What people really mean is you need to use training mode to figure out what you're doing wrong. But I use training mode all the time, you might say. Yes, well, practicing your optimal Yasuo combos isn't gonna help you when Blitzcrank is running you down. Training mode is a great tool that can be used to replicate environments that you are losing in. One of the most beautiful things about fighting games that's a little bit different than, say, a shooter or MOBA is that all of the things that happen are endlessly repeatable. This game has virtually no luck factor, and there's no teammates you have to count on. What that means is whatever you're losing to will likely keep happening to you as long as you don't show that you're able to beat it. And figuring out a complex answer to your opponent's infinite block strings is not easy in the moment, but you can recreate that scenario in training mode after the fact. This is by far the best way to use training mode because it allows you to create an environment where failure is not punishing. Simply recognize what you're losing to, go recreate it in training mode, and keep practicing new ideas until you have an answer to whatever your opponent's doing. For instance, let's talk about Ahri.
We don't talk about Bruno, no.
While Yasuo and Echo might be the head honchos in the tournaments, Ahri is one of the biggest ranked demons. She is incredibly fast and hard to catch. This combined with incredible damage, fast normals, and surprisingly good zoning. Ahri makes for one of the most frustrating characters to play against because it feels like she just ignores all the basic rules of how to engage neutral. The thing you have to accept whenever you fight Ahri is that you're eventually going to get hit and probably put in the corner. This isn't ideal, but figuring out how to defend from this situation is very important because if you can't, then she's just going to steamroll over you. Every Ahri player is different. They will structure their offense differently, especially dependent on what their assist character is and what their fuse is. However, there is 2 drills that you can run to better prepare yourself for 2 of their most common options. Step 1. Go to training mode and select whatever characters you like to play, and then select your opponent to be Ahri and Darius. Fuse selection doesn't matter here, neither does stage. Next, put yourself in the corner and record Ahri doing 2 separate actions. Make sure to set the dummy to block and then have her do medium, heavy, S2, delayed assist, air dash, heavy. When I say delayed assist, I specifically mean waiting for the last hit of this little spinny orb move to hit before you call Darius. Also, it should go without saying, but make sure to hold back after the air dash. This is simulating you making them block. And for your second recording, go ahead and have Ahri do medium, heavy, S1, and S1 again. If you've fought and lost against Ahri, you'll probably recognize both of these sequences as very common autopilot strings that Ahri likes to do in the corner. S2 into assist gives her really good plus frames and allows her to go for easy mix. And S1 is very hard to counter and leaves her in the air for more air dash shenanigans. However, both of these strings have different answers, the first being to push block the S2. By push blocking the first hit of the S2, you'll effectively move Darius out of striking range, meaning that you're able to get out of the corner very easily since there's nothing hitting you anymore. And if Ahri autopilots into the 2 fireballs on her S1, then you can very easily parry the second one and then cleanly anti-air her. It will count as a punish because there's nothing that she can do out of this to avoid getting hit. Now all you have to do is set your recordings to random and then just watch what Ahri does. Make sure to parry that fireball and push block the S2. The point of this drill is training you to react to very common sequences that you'll see in a match. Push block and parry are the 2 most powerful defensive options you have in this game. So by running this drill before you hop into ranked, you'll be better locked into anticipating your parries and understanding your push blocks. Because even though you might not run into an Ahri on the day, you'll probably run into somebody who could have been beaten very easily by perfectly timed parries or appropriate push blocks. Which also means you'll be thinking about that mid-match, so if you ever miss one, you're more likely to recognize it, meaning you now have something to go into training mode to test out again. And then the whole cycle begins again. So basically what I'm saying is if you're losing, just hit the lab.